Guys, it's Chelsea. Today I'm going to talk about privacy versus stigma, aka the time that I cried at my dentist's. Stigma is a very real issue. It affects all of us. Stigma for a variety of things. I sometimes feel weird telling people that I have a mental illness because they're like, but you look so normal! And I'm like, yeah, I am normal and not like what does the word normal mean? That's a judgmental word. You should go to DBT and they'll teach you to stop talking like that. And so I'm not just talking about stigma from other people, but it's the dreaded self-stigma. Yeah, I have it. I talked about it just last video. It's embarrassing, some of the things that I've done. And so even though I can say I have a health problem, like that's why I did those things. It wasn't like all my fault. I'm not a bad person. I have an illness. You still feel the stigma. It's always there. There is a big difference between someone feeling embarrassed and afraid to share their story and someone not wanting to because it's none of your business. So, it has been almost a year that I've been in recovery and been back home with my parents. When I last saw the dentist, it was only a few months that I had been home. I had not started DBT yet. I was seeing an individual therapist at this time. The point is, I was in a fragile place. And I, like I think most people, am not a huge fan of the dentist anyway. The person who often cleans my teeth at the dentist is actually a parent of someone that I used to go to school with, and I was very friendly with that person when we were younger. So I know this person who was cleaning my teeth, and I was sort of dreading this because I'd had this situation with a lot of other people who I bumped into and were just like, hey, shouldn't you be at college? Sensitive subject for me at the time, a bit of a sore spot. But like that's what people ask, and that's totally fine and totally normal. My answer would be, you know, no, I'm just taking some time off and you know, like I just needed a break to kind of get myself, you know, figure my life out before I decide what my next steps are. And most people are like, cool, yeah, you know, they don't ask too many questions. But in this case, the dentist and the dental hygienist pushed, you know, asking, oh, so then do you have a job? No, I'm not working right now. Oh, it must be really hard to find a job. Sure, yeah, that's why I'm not working. So when the dentist came to check my teeth, I was already feeling very anxious and frustrated and tired of answering all of those questions because I'd been getting a lot of them that week and that day. And then the dental hygienist had asked, and after she had asked, I was just on edge. So when he asked, I, you know, was like, I just need them to stop asking. I'm just going to say, actually, I'm technically on medical withdrawal from college. That's it. That is the term. That's what I am. Did not stop asking questions. I believe at this point the dental hygienist had identified that I was someone struggling with a lot of issues. The problem at this point is that she did not identify that I was someone who did not want to talk about my issues. I think a lot of people who have not experienced a mental illness themselves do not understand this sort of difference between stigma and privacy, between me being afraid to tell and feeling so bad about it, and just not wanting to talk to a dental hygienist about all of my traumas. Shortly after the dentist left, the dental hygienist got back on asking questions about college because at this point I had said that I was on medical withdrawal, which is not what I had said to her when she had earlier asked. So I'm sure it raised some flags for her. So clearly my parents and the school were involved in something happening since I now live with my parents and I no longer go to the school. So I think that's a fairly clear sign that I was getting the help that I needed. That yeah, I'm like still in a rough and emotional place. That's the thing, is you cannot save every person with a mental illness, and it's not your job, and it's sometimes not your right. Yes, when people who are incredibly close to me came to me in like an intervention-y type of circumstance, yes, I listened to those people and I cared what they had to say, and it made a difference. When my dental hygienist tries to give me like a pick-me-up talk, the whole time I was just so uncomfortable. And I feel bad to some degree because I do know that she was very well-meaning, and that's the problem with well-meaning individuals, is that because it came from a good place, because you were well-intentioned, it is harder to tell you that you were still wrong, but you were still wrong. And I want you guys to keep that in mind, that if you're talking to someone about any sort of delicate subject, let them guide the conversation. You can ask a question or two, but be so aware and so sensitive of what they're telling you, not only with their verbal cues, but with their physical cues. They will probably be showing very clearly with their body language whether they are comfortable continuing this conversation and explaining their situation to you, or whether they do not want to discuss it. The thing is, at this point, it's an illness. It's a health problem. If I was dying of cancer, I'd probably be really sad about that too. And when my dental hygienist asked about it, I'd probably cry. And it's not because I'm ashamed of having cancer, it'd be because cancer sucks. And I would not talk about it because I'm afraid of it, or because I'm afraid of being judged for having cancer, but I want to talk about it because fucking my dental hygienist doesn't need to know that I have cancer. It's none of her business. It's the same way with mental illness. At some point, the question that she asked was, did something happen to you? Did something happen to you? I broke. I feel it even now just repeating that question. Because the thing that immediately ran through my head was, yes, something happened. A million fucking things have happened. Everything that could have gone wrong at that point in my life felt like it had. But no, I do not want to share my laundry list of traumas with my dental hygienist. Even if you're talking to someone that you consider a close friend, you might not be on the inside boundary of their sharing my mental health experience lines. So after she asks this question, I am crying. And of course I'm laying down in the chair like such an open and vulnerable position, and I've got the napkin on and my tears are pouring down my face, and she's taking the fucking napkin and wiping my cheek and just oh, it's okay, like, oh, don't worry, like, oh, this happens, and like, oh, it's okay, and like, you shouldn't be ashamed. Bitch, I don't need you to tell me it's okay one more time. You don't get what I'm crying about right now. I'm crying because you're making me have this interaction when I just want to go home. So while I am not ashamed of the fact that I left school due to mental illness, don't make me talk about it with you. I cried in a lot of restaurants in high school. I've done my fair share of public crying. The point is, I encourage you to break down the barriers of stigma. Yes, I want you all to talk about mental illness, talk about it casually and openly with whoever, whenever, but also I want you to know that it is still your right to say no, that it is still your right to say my story is my private story. Okay guys, rant over. That's all I had to share this time around. Bye guys.